Yo, what's up, brothers and sisters? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Apologies for no videos the last few days. I was in San Diego for a wedding, and then a little this, a little that. You know how it goes. Great rebound in the markets today after that big, nasty Blumkin gap down and trend down day. We had a trend day here. We did fade off into the afternoon. It looks like there's some little hoopla going on with NVIDIA into the close and after hours. So that's going to weigh a little bit on the market. But overall, if you're a bull, look, the things that needed to happen, right? We tested down in the pre-market into a 20-day moving average along with this old breakout spot. And we trended up literally from the minute 10, and then we faded off into close a little bit with the NVIDIA drop. So if we can hold this level, then we're in for a good spot, right? Obviously if we can't, then it's kind of a failed bounce and, maybe we drift back off into the 50-day moving average. So keep an eye on, this level over here. I would say 617 on the Qs and then a little bit lower, which would be like 614 on for the 20 SMA, but somewhere in that zone is going to be kind of like the max pain if you're into this bounce. My thinking of today, though, the price action was great. There was bounces and, money flowing around everywhere. You saw moves in Tesla and cryptos. And I think the story of today, of course, on my end, was that AMD, which looked like it was getting pretty nasty at one point in the pre-market or post-market yesterday, it got to like 235. So to come up and hit 260, I mean, that's about as bullish as you can be. And it literally gapped down too for just a second, and then it got bought up. It got defended at its breakout spot and the 20 SMA. At that point, what can you do but say, hey, a good day for the bulls. Tesla had an awesome trend. We shorted this at the open, and I didn't even think about logging it. And it was like I took off. And left for the day around here, and then I checked later, and it dropped, popped up 20-something points. Look, that Elon vote is tomorrow. There's a line in the sand right here at 470. There was all sorts of call buying going in at the 480s, so just something to kind of be mindful of as you're going through this. There's a breakout spot here, and everybody's been waiting for it, so let's see if it actually pushes through. But look, I think we have our levels here. 20 SMAs. If they hold, they hold. If they don't, then, we'll switch biases. But I think, I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the bulls here, minus this little tankola here into the close, and we'll see kind of what's up for tomorrow. So let's go into this. I thought Lemonade had an awesome day. This was top of my list for day trades today. I actually didn't take it. I was looking a little bit light in liquidity, and I didn't want to get stuck with the spread with too much size, and I should have taken smaller size. This is an awesome breakout, by the way. You've got $100, like 100, 105, 115 in the cards on this one. You can't write a better earnings day than that, where you gap up and then you trend up literally all day, but you were trending up all the pre-market too. It was just a nonstop buying. I think that's a really good spot. What are you gonna do, right? That's a hottie with a body. Doxson had an earnings report. This one's got a spot here. It needs a little bit more work. I'm kind of trying to find things that are still got a little bit of room to go. This thing used to be $200 or $150. Maybe you finally come out of this little cage that it's been in. This stock sucks to day trade though. So for me, what I'm personally waiting for is some level of, tightening up around here to see if we can maybe break this and then, break out of the 50s. More of a swing trade stock. Even though it did 11 million shares today, it normally doesn't, and it's just a shit day trader, but good swinger. Dude, Iron, now that's a good day trader, right? 50 million shares in volume, you move 11 points, and you can see, how it moves, right? The sashaying in and out, when you're day trading, that's what you want to be trading, right? You want the stocks with the liquidity, the big fat ATRs. That's where the sweet spot is. You're taking out some range here. This is probably a primetime candidate if it dips down at the open tomorrow. We'll try to red to green this bad boy. Hey, you I thought it was about to do what it normally does. The last earnings, I kind of chased this thing up for a pre-market breakout, and the fucking thing got rugged. It was like slamming your dick in the drawer, right? Like, it was like, oh, why? It just nipped the tick, but it still hurt. And then this thing, it looked like it was rugging down too, and then it got bought up with the monster cock run into the close. So gotta respect that. This is the top of the list tomorrow. 41 million shares in volume. It's another one that's if it can do it, you've got all this kind of clearance. If it can ever do it. Now, will it do it? I don't know. This is a heartbreaker, but I think today's a good start. 41 million shares in volume, looking pretty good. Hey, BE's a daily trader. We keep this on our watch list every day now. This is another one that's like just liquid with big honking ATRs. It's ATR's 14 points, guys, on a $100 name. 10%. That's like a good sweet, and 15 million shares in volume. That's a perfect sweet spot of like liquidity and range when you're day trading. Like, you find stocks like that, you're having a good year as a scalper, day trader, or short-term swing trader. Like, this is, got a spot on it, 147, give or take. A Cypher, this just runs with iron, when you're trying to get one and it doesn't work, you go to the other one, and, vice versa. But same setup, right? Same exact look. Hey, Envis, they have their earnings in a week, but I think this is going to make a run probably into this highs before the earnings come, if the market can hold. It had a nice pop, today. I think we keep that on your watch list. Hey, QS had a nice little reversal today. They had, they had a PR out that they were shipping some battery thingy, and dude, it took off 50 million shares in volume. This is another one, maybe not as clean. Like, it's got a little bit more of a butterface on it, right? Like, you're like, kind of got to tilt your head, and it's a 4-beer setup. But, dude, you can make you can crush a lot of puss doing, on the 4-beer setup. So, it's a 4-beer setup. It ain't like something you're doing. It ain't something you're doing at the open. It's not something you're doing sober. But, it may be something that's like a 10 o'clock pull. I like the overall look of it. It's just sloppy. It's a 4-beer setup. I mean, there's no other way to get around that. Boom, 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 boom. And then look, Tesla, like I said, like this had a huge run on it. We got that vote. I don't know if the vote's like a sell the news thing or not. My guess is in this particular case, it's not just based on the structure of the chart. Usually the sell the news kind of stuff is like a lot better when you have like a stock that's already been running, like, like Oklo goes like $200 or something, and you're like, oh, shit, right? But I think this thing it's a hottie with a body if it can ever go. Now, Tesla's a heartbreaker, I thought it was going to go a couple days before, and then it, kerplunks, right? And, I thought maybe it can go here, and it kerplunks, and, this huge day here, and then it kerplunks. And, guys, when it drops, it always drops like 20, 30 points, and you're just like, ugh. All right, like, yeah, it always makes you cry, uncle. Tesla is like the ultimate, like, buy when you cry and, sell when you think it's going to break out. But, hey, I'm a glutton for punishment. If it pushes through, like, I'm hitting it. Like, even though I know, like, probably it's going to give me some heartburn, I'm still doing it. I'm Indian. You know how it goes. We live with excess back hair and heartburn. SoFi, hey, nice look on this. This is also probably a little bit more of a swing setup. With the earnings out of the way, you just got a nice little break here. So just rested on the 20. I like the overall look of it. Is that prime time setup? No, I give it a B+, but, more of it's probably a 3.5 beer setup. Right? A shop tested its 50-day moving average here today. I think this is, I've been trying to get into this one for a while in some of my other swing accounts. It loves to bounce off the 50 here. I didn't take it when it tested into it. I was just waiting a little bit, and by the time I looked, it was like it popped like $5. But let's see if it meanders for a second in the morning. I think I'll probably take a stab at that one. And look, this W is, an earnings breakout. You're building out a flag. It's just hugging in the bone zone over here. I think that's got a decent shot on it. And then, overall tomorrow we'll just have to keep a look. Like, there were some stocks here like Dash that got a little bit shredded. Now, how DoorDash is like $100 billion company is beyond me anyways, right? Like, fuck. That's a lot of cheddars for some food. What do they do? Pizza delivery? I never used DoorDash before, but It's like a pizza delivery. What, wings? You get wings? I don't know. I can't eat wings. Do I got a mustache? I get, buffalo sauce all over my grin. And, dude, then it's like, you smell it all day. And then, if you have any nighttime activities, it's like, it gets in spots that you don't want to get into spots. And, dude, I can't be eating, buffalo sauce as much as I'd like to. You get a mustache going, a nice thick bushy one too. Mine's not bushy per se, but it has definitely got like a nice texture to it. If you see me, it's like, it's not bushy, but it's like it's not a wispy like Frenchman's mustache. It's got a real nice texture to it. So I don't know. I never used DoorDash before, but hey man, 100 billion, good for them. Their CEO's a genius, right? Like God damn. So there's gonna be some earnings plays and stuff for tomorrow. My watch list was very long, but this was the cream of it. And we'll see what else is going on. Guys, and remember, in earnings season, you got to wake up a little bit earlier because there's like all sorts of gappers and stuff like that. And, there's all these stocks that are going to be, ripping and titting like, a lemonade. And so get up early, make your list a little bit, you can scan for like earnings plays and gappers. Like when things slow down, you can start doing it like 8:30, but probably come in at 8, give yourself maybe an extra 30 minutes to just kind of sift through things. Check all the upgrades and all that kind of stuff too. So that's the list. I'm sticking to it. I love you guys. I apologize for not making any videos this last week. But the drill. We do what we do, which is the do-do.